Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Wednesday, October 22nd. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down the Wednesday NHL slate. We've got a trio of games on tap for this Wednesday night. We will get to those in just a little bit. In the meantime, before we get into tonight's card, we want to look back, as we always do, on last night, and it was a busy Tuesday in NHL action. Had a bunch of interesting results. How about the Pittsburgh Penguins? 5-1 over the Vancouver Canucks last night. How about the performance from She Loves You? Yeah. Artur Shelov's. 1 goal allowed against his old team, and I told you, that's what totally got me off the Vancouver side, and I am thankful for that. And Pittsburgh gets the 5-1 win last night, even though they're coming off the road trip. But Vancouver, it wasn't the greatest of scheduling spots for them. A lot of travel. A lot of road games in a short period of time. I think it was 4th game in 6 nights for them on this road trip. And a nice win for the Pittsburgh Penguins last night as they beat the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 5-1. Sidney Crosby getting a goal. Brazeau continues his red-hot start to the year. Mantha, I mentioned that line. Malkin, Brazeau, and Mantha has actually been a shockingly very good line early in the year for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it was once again last night. The New York Islanders with a 4-3 win over the San Jose Sharks last night. Other than San Jose not winning the game, which would have made it just an unbelievable game for me betting-wise, everything else hit. We had first period over, full game over. The Islanders now, every game still has gone over the total this season for the Islanders with their combination of an improved offense. They're scoring a few more goals, but they're also giving up a lot more goals. And apparently Patrick Waugh has seen enough of the lack of progress from his goaltending, particularly Ilya Sorokin, as he's fired his goalie coach today and replacing him with a Russian-born new goalie coach that they hope, I guess, speaking in the native tongue with a guy like Ilya Sorokin will help, get him back on track. But I watched the Islanders a lot this year. He hasn't been great, Sorokin, but that blue line's terrible right now as far as defensive play is concerned. You know what? With one exception, and that is, of course, the number 1 overall pick, the rookie, Matthew Schaefer. I'm telling you right now, you can't even debate this right now. He's already their best defenseman on this New York Islanders team. He is in just a handful of NHL games. Looks better, looks more comfortable, playing more depth on that blue line than anybody else. Romanov, Mayfield, Pelech and Pollock, he's got them beat leaps and bounds. Pelech and Pollock have just declined so much defensively. I think the injuries have played a big part in it. And here's this kid, Matthew Schaefer, that looks composed in his own zone, composed with the puck on his stick, making good plays, getting involved in the offense. He has a point in every game so far this year. A goal and an assist last night for the Islanders. Very impressive start to his NHL career. There's no question. He's already, unbelievably, in just less than 10 games into his NHL career, he's like already the best blue liner on that hockey team. It's really amazing to see it. And the Islanders, obviously, the beneficiary of it, and a nice win there for them last night, 4-3 over the San Jose Sharks, as the Sharks still searching for that first win of the season. Washington, a very thorough, workmanlike bounce-back effort from them after losing to Vancouver. They beat Seattle 4-1. A solid effort from Logan Thompson in net. Matt Murray getting his first start with the Seattle Kraken last night in net. So not a shock, I guess, that Seattle comes up short with Murray in net. Although when you only score 1 goal, you're not going to win. And Seattle, we mentioned this on the show yesterday, not just bad, awful last year on the second night of back-to-backs. Is that going to continue moving forward? And already owing, another loss in that back-to-back situation last night to Washington. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you could argue worst performance by a team last night. Well, there are a couple, but this is right up there as the worst. The Toronto Maple Leafs. That was terrible last night against the New Jersey Devils. And Sheldon Keefe had lost every game with the Devils to his old team, Toronto, last year. He finally gets a win over them this year. You watch that game, it was ugly. They were losing every puck battle. They looked slow. New Jersey just looked like a much faster, zipping the puck around. Toronto's heads were spinning. It was not one of Anthony Stolar's. It's funny, Anthony Stolar's rips the team after Saturday, and then he probably has his worst game of the season last night, although it's not all his fault when you only score 2 goals and you don't generate much and you get nothing going in the third period when you're down multiple goals. That's a problem. And you can't get chances. You can't come back and win games when you don't have the puck. And the Toronto Maple Leafs just didn't have the puck enough last night. And New Jersey just looked like a faster, better team last night, start to finish. That was actually an even worse game for the Leafs than the game against Seattle on Saturday night, in which Stolarz kind of reamed them out after that game. I think it was even worse for them last night against New Jersey. The top line, and Greg Berube, you can tell in the postgame's getting frustrated. They're not getting anything out of them right now. Austin Matthews, hate to say it, I couldn't find him with a telescope last night. As invisible, as non-impactful as I've ever seen him in a single game for the Toronto Maple Leafs last night. He wasn't physical. He wasn't on the puck. He barely got anything as far as chances are concerned. And the whole team, it just felt like they were a step slow and just didn't have the puck for most of that night against the New Jersey Devils. But credit to New Jersey, and great win for them. They've been rolling. The win streak continues with that 5-2 win. Edmonton with a 3-2 win in overtime against Ottawa, a much-needed win for them after a few losses in a row. They blow a 2-0 lead, a quick strike, 2 goals in the early part of the third period for Ottawa, but Edmonton ends up winning it in overtime. And look, you just can't give the Oilers an overtime power play. You just can't. There's another team that did that. You just can't give these overtime power plays up. You're just playing with fire and the chance to lose the hockey game. And sure enough, Ottawa takes a penalty. Didn't love the call, but still, it was a penalty that was given to Ottawa, and Jake Wallman wins it in overtime for the Edmonton Oilers, and they get a 3-2 road win to snap the losing streak. What an incredibly crazy, bizarre, kooky, weird finish as you'll ever see in Boston last night between the Panthers and Bruins. Florida comes out strong, gets the 2-0 lead. Boston, though, responds. Give them credit. Zacha and Lindholm equalize. E2 Kuhlman, Luostarinen gives Florida the lead back, 3-2. Morgan Geekie would have liked that if you're Alex, if it was the first goal of the game, but nevertheless, Morgan Geekie ties it with about a minute and a half left. And then just when you think Boston's going to at least get a point out of this game, force it to overtime, a crazy play involving Swayman where it's the shot, it goes off, him, and then it just ricochets off a player in front of the net, and just a crazy careen into the net with that puck to give Florida just a bonkers game-winning goal in the final minute, 4-3 over the Boston Bruins. Just a crazy bounce of the puck there, and one of the weirdest goals you'll see as Florida gets the 4-3 win there in that game. And look, I thought they had a really good first period. I thought Boston actually played pretty good, if not slightly more chances in the latter 2 periods. But for Florida, with the struggles on this road trip, they needed that win in a pretty big way, and they were able to get it 4-3 over Boston last night. The LA Kings, 2-1 win in overtime against the St. Louis Blues. I thought St. Louis played a pretty good third period after they were awful in the second. And they weren't that great in the first. It really took till the third period for St. Louis to get going, but they did. They ended up tying that game with the early Justin Falk goal, and it looked like that, momentum was on their side. They had a good third period. They had some chances, but it goes to overtime, and again, just can't take a penalty in overtime. It doesn't matter who you play. You put yourself in a spot where, you're going to maybe have a chance to lose the game. That's exactly what happened. Buchnevich goes off for hooking, and sure enough, Adrian Kempe, who was terrific last night for the LA Kings. I mean, Kings fans are screaming to Ken Holland on Twitter, sign this guy. What are you waiting for? And when he has a night like that, 3 points, he factors in to every LA goal, or 2 points, I should say. He factors into every LA goal. Gets the assist on the Laferriere goal, gets the overtime winner on the power play, and certainly a nice 3-2-1 win, much needed for the LA Kings with the way things have been going. And as much as I love this St. Louis Blues team, they've definitely had their ups and downs and peaks and valleys here early in the season. There's been moments they've looked just awesome, and there's been moments where it's looked pretty rough for St. Louis. So I know Jim Montgomery's looking for a little bit more consistency with them. We saw Anaheim beat Nashville 5-2, best bet winner. Ducks plus 120. I didn't have to worry about it in the end. Lukas Dostal did get the start for Anaheim. He was very solid in net. And this Anaheim team, man, they can score and they can put the puck in the net. And Nashville found that out. Nice win, nice bounce back after a tough loss in the Windy City the other night against Chicago. The Ducks bounced back with a nice 5-2 win over the Nashville Predators. And then the last couple of games, this is the other team that just threw up a dud last night, the Dallas Stars. 5-1 loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets, down 2-0 after the first period, outshot 14-5 in that first period. Much better second, and they cut the deficit to 2-1. But they couldn't get that tie goal. Got to give Elvis credit. Merzlikins was very solid when he had the chances. He made some good saves, better performance from him. And then it's almost like it took wind out of their sails. That Dallas had a good period and couldn't get that game tied. And then, of course, Columbus really regains the momentum in the third, and Dallas had a really awful third period. Columbus 3-1, and there was not really that big push in the third period from the Stars. They only had 5 shots on goal in that third period, even down multiple goals. But give Columbus credit. That is a phenomenal road win for them, 5-1 against the Dallas Stars, who don't look now, but they've lost 3 in a row. And what a nice win for Utah. Gutsy win in the ESPN doubleheader finale, 4-3 in overtime. The one thing I was worried about during this Utah win streak was you beat a bunch of bad teams and a bunch of struggling teams. Now you get a chance to play a really good Colorado team. How would you handle it? Litmus test. They handled it quite well. Vejmelka gave them a chance, kept that game tied. And then Dylan Guenther, get used to this. He's now had 12 game-winning goals the last 2 seasons combined, and he gets the overtime winner on a great feed from Logan Cooley, and they beat Colorado in overtime. And suddenly, the Utah Mammoth are putting some things together on a nice little win streak here on this homestand at the Delta Center. Alex, your thoughts on Tuesday?
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at Utah, Anaheim, St. Louis, 3 teams that played Chicago and lost, but completely different results afterward. Utah now on a 4-game win streak, like you said, played very well. Dylan Guenther, another overtime winner. If you're betting draws with Utah, that's the guy to go to for the OT winners, no question. Then you look at Anaheim. Fantastic game. That was a spot I should have done like we did the day before when we both had the same best bet, because that was a good spot with Anaheim. I didn't care who was in goal for the Ducks, if it was Mrazek or Dostal, but the fact that it was Dostal, liked that spot even better at plus money. That was just insane to be laying a price with Nashville. Anaheim, like I said, just was able to shut them down, use their speed, and play, once again, solid defense. That's what's impressive about Anaheim. They're getting the goals, they're getting the offense, but Q is getting them to play solid defense like he does with all of his teams. And that was a great game, a fun game to watch, actually. Really, that was the game I watched the most. And then there's Columbus and Dallas, which that game was just a mess. Thankfully, the live betting helped me with that. The first period over, cashing, full game over on a 5.5 cashing. But Dallas, I don't understand why they get so frustrated with themselves when they get, they have a period where they don't score. Like I said, they get stymied by a couple of chances, and they just kind of just lock up and shell up. Way too much talent on that team for them to just kind of disappear in periods and in moments during games, and that's exactly what they did in the second and third period. That was awful to see as somebody who had Dallas team total. And then St. Louis, I kind of skipped them in between there, but St. Louis and LA, it was a fun game to watch back and forth. A little frustrating because I did have St. Louis in regulation, but grabbed a couple of bets in game, just couldn't cash. Like you said, when you take penalties in overtime, that's just an absolute mess. Penalties ruined St. Louis's night. They ruined Ottawa's night as well. That's how Edmonton got that chance. They already had momentum on their side, but to draw that 4-on-3, it came really close to cashing a live in-game goal winner with Leon Draisaitl. He had 2 point-blank chances, but eventually it was Wallman that ended up getting that winner. So that's a market that we started looking at too. And like I said, the live betting was good last night, kind of getting ready and fine-tuned, of course, for next Tuesday when we'll be live betting here during the Frozen Frenzy.
And it's coming 6 days away, our first live betcast of the season for the NHL Frozen Frenzy, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. We cannot wait for that first live betcast of the season, and it will be a free betcast to everybody. This will be open to everyone to join us next Tuesday night. So we're very much looking forward to that for sure. All right, let's get into the Wednesday NHL card. We will start with Minnesota and the red-hot New Jersey Devils. The Devils -140 home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. When you look at this matchup, New Jersey's rolling, not an easy team to step in front of. It's been a terrific stretch of hockey for them. And it's not just the win streak and the way they're playing and the way Jack Hughes is he's taking over and dominating games. And there's people that were saying on some of the broadcasts last night, I don't know if it was the Devils broadcast or if it was the TSN Leaf broadcast, but people were saying he's making a case for being the best American forward, at least right now. I'm not saying overall, but right now with the way he's playing since, now that he's healthy and the way he started this season. I mean, Jack Hughes just dominated that game last night for the New Jersey Devils. They've now won 5 in a row. And like I said, you've got to like that they've won 5 in a row against, I would say, every team's at the very least a decent to good team. Like, what's the weakest opponent of the 5 wins in a row? Columbus, maybe? And their other wins were Tampa, Florida, Edmonton, and Toronto. That's a nice little group of 5 teams that you've beaten now 5 games in a row. That being said, this is a bit of a dubious spot here for the New Jersey Devils. It's a back-to-back after a big win last night in Toronto. Probably get home late. It's a Wild team that's got the rest advantage, a Wild team that had been struggling, losing 3 in a row, but they got off the schneid thanks to a 3-1 win against the New York Rangers on Monday night. Rest advantage for the Wild. And I want to bring up, and this is all Chris Otto. He deserves the credit for this. I have to bring up this angle because it makes sense now that he brought it up to us that it would be successful or it has the chance to be successful, but there's a back-to-back system he's been tracking, and it's teams on a back-to-back off a loss versus off a win. So when teams are playing on a back-to-back, how do they fare off a loss? How do they fare off a win? Here tonight we have New Jersey on a back-to-back off a win. And so far, early in the season, very small sample size, but teams in a back-to-back off a win, like New Jersey is tonight, have lost the first period 68.75% of the time, and they've lost the game 62.5% of the time this season. So that angle says take Minnesota here tonight and maybe look at doing a first period full game money line split. And I'm going to do just that. This was not initially going to be on my card, but I think it makes sense when you look at it. This is as great as New Jersey's playing. It's a tricky situation, a big win for them against Toronto. They hadn't beaten Toronto, and Sheldon Keefe hadn't beaten Toronto since they fired him. So he could say all he wants, it's just another win, but deep down inside, I know that's not the case. He probably felt pretty good finally getting one against the Leafs last night. I think there's reasons to like Minnesota here. To travel of getting in late too. It's, again, since the pandemic, this cross-border travel is not as easy as it was before, 2020 either. So I think there's a lot of situational reasons to like Minnesota here. Chris Otto brings up that angle. We want to back the teams on a back-to-back off a loss. We want to fade the teams on a back-to-back off a win. By the way, the back-to-back off a loss, teams on a back-to-back, but they lost the previous night, those teams have won on the back-to-back the first period 73% of the time. They've won the game 38.46% of the time. So strong with the first period in particular. Teams on the back-to-back off a loss. And apparently he's told me that Seattle last night was the first outright loss of the season for a team that was on a back-to-back off a loss. So there you go, that they were not able to win the next game. So it's an interesting angle. Chris is tracking it. It's been off to a small sample size so far, but it's been an angle that's been profitable so far. And it says bet Minnesota here and fade New Jersey in the back-to-back off a win. So I will do that. Minnesota first period full game, money line split. Again, this was not on my card initially. This is not my strongest bet on the card tonight, but I'll get involved in it, and I'll test this little system out. Alex, what do you think? Minnesota, New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that system plays out in this game tonight. And I like the over by factors here, but I'm waiting to play these live. I'm seeing minus 130. I don't see anything cheaper than that as far as a 5.5 goes to the total. So I want to get that down to something closer to pick 'em range or even plus money. Same thing with the over 1.5. And I actually want to see a little bit pace as well before jumping in with that first period over. I will certainly be on the over 5.5 in game once it gets into a price range. But first period over, I would probably wait even a little bit longer. So normally I'm looking for first period to make that first bet and then the full game over. I'm making the full game over bet first and then still waiting to see what happens within that first 20 minutes. Might be able to get plus money out of both of those. That's the only thing I like here.
Yeah, I lean over as well. First period, full game. Like I said, don't love it, but because of the fact Minnesota's not been scoring as much and they've kind of trended under lately, and New Jersey's been playing good defense. But you are getting Nico Dawes tonight in net for the New Jersey Devils. And I don't want to make it sound like he's not capable, but Jake Allen's been very good. Is he going to give you what Jake Allen's given you so far this year? We'll have to wait and see on that. He was good last year, I'll say that. 3-1, 1.6 goals against, .939 save percentage in 6 games with the Devils last year. Those are really good numbers for Nico Dawes. But, small sample size. This is going to be his first start of the season for the Devils here, recalled from Utica of the American Hockey League, so we'll see how he fares. Perlo in the house as he is on Wednesdays now with us. Perlo, good timing, our first game. What do you think? Wild Devils.
Yeah, bring up some good points there. New Jersey coming off that big win. And last game, Minnesota started shooting again against the New York Rangers. Now, that was against the New York Rangers. So it's a little easier to be putting some high-volume shots there against that defense compared to this New Jersey defense. That being said, I think they're going to go back to it again. I don't think they're going to just settle in here and not do what was successful for them against the Rangers. So I like Minnesota first period here quite a bit. I think New Jersey's coming in a bit fat, just had a big win. As far as the over first period, New Jersey's not a good over team, and they're not a good scoring in the first period team. So I'm not really a huge fan of that. But if we can get normally with the New Jersey game, I would bet no goals first 10 minutes because they do that constantly all the time. However, with Dawes being in there and Minnesota looking like they're coming out shooting the lights out from everywhere, I'm probably not going to take that this time. Hopefully we get that over that you're talking about first period and Minnesota scores both of them, but I'm not going to bet them to get 2 goals in the first period. I do like them though, and you can get this at plus 100 to get the first 5 shots in the period. So you can get Minnesota first 5 shots at plus 100. This is the first time I played that this year, Minnesota first 5 shots. What else do I like? I like Minnesota for the game too. I think Minnesota has got themselves back into the game again, back into it again against the Rangers. I don't think they were in a little bit of a malaise. I don't think they're going back into this malaise here. I think it's a good spot for Minnesota. And I'm going to be parlaying that top line. And Bium. Now, if you want that, go to Perlo's NHL POW. I'll be posting it afterwards. But a good example of it is you take Boldy for a goal, Bium for an assist, and Eck for an assist. He's been piling up the assists. You can get that at plus 850. So if they're going to score, it's usually going to be that line. Also, Hartman, that's all he does is shoot. That's all he wants. His coach must give him like huge bonuses every time he shoots because he shoots like crazy. Whether he hits the net or not is another thing, but he usually
done over 1.5 shots 71% this year of the time.
71% over 1.5. And I'm going to ladder that a little bit. I'm not going to put huge on it because New Jersey is a pretty good defensive team. And I think that they're going to be a little bit back on their heels. And usually when you get New Jersey back on their heels, they have a tendency to have a hard time getting out of it. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it for a ladder, but I'm just going to put a little bit on it. But like I said, and Mercer for a goal. I mean, he's just been doing it. And here's one, because I think Minnesota is going to be shooting a lot. This is going to be my first block shots bet for this season. Pesce has been blocking shots like crazy, and over 1.5 is minus 175. So I'm going to ladder that, and you can get plus 175 at 2.5. So I'm going to put a little bit off.
He's gone over 1.5 block shots, Pesce, every game this year.
Every game this year. Yeah, game. That's right. Yeah. And way over a lot of the time. Yeah. So I like that play a lot.
There you go. So that backs up what Perlo is saying. This year, what can you say? 10 games, 10 over 1.5 block shots for Brett Pesce this year on the blue line for the New Jersey Devils. I like Dawson Mercer as far as props on the New Jersey side. He's been, like I said, I think he's undervalued on that second line. He's gotten off to a good start. This could be the night to dabble in those Minnesota Wild power play point props. And the reason I say that is because the power play, it's slowed down, but teams have also maintained better discipline lately against Minnesota, not giving them those power play chances. Well, if you're New Jersey, you're on a back-to-back. What happens when you're on a back-to-back sometimes? Maybe you're a step slow, and now you hook and you hold a little bit more, and you interfere a little bit more than you would if you've got, full rest of not playing the previous night with travel, I might add. So this could be a night where Minnesota gets New Jersey to draw those penalties, and you end up getting those power play chances. So this could be a night where maybe you look at maybe Minnesota drawing more penalties because of the fact that New Jersey on the back-to-back, maybe a step behind. All right, Detroit and Buffalo. We've got even money, -110 both sides, 6 the total. Gustafsson, by the way, in net for Minnesota tonight in that first game. This game is the TNT game. Only one TNT game tonight. I guess the thing that stands out about this game, and it was certainly discussed in our Ice Guys chat, why does this price look so cheap on Detroit, with the way they're playing right now? I mean, they are playing excellent hockey, and they're kind of like what we've talked about a minute ago with New Jersey. They've done it against pretty good teams as well. It's not like they're beating up on, the weakest teams in the NHL. They're not facing the San Jose's of the world every night. Detroit during this win streak. I mean, you beat Toronto twice, you beat Florida, you beat Tampa, you beat Edmonton. That's a hell of a win streak against some pretty good competition. Now here they are against Buffalo, who have actually won their last 2 home games versus Ottawa and Florida before losing to Montreal on the road the other night, 4-2. So it just makes you wonder here. It looks tantalizingly cheap on the Detroit Red Wings to take them -110. Now, there is a goaltending note here for Buffalo. I'm actually shocked by this. And, Lindy Ruff's had a great coaching career. I'm wondering what the hell he's doing here. Alex Lyon has played good, really good. He's given you chances to win most nights. We saw what happened on Saturday, home against Florida, with an axe to grind against an old team, and he was phenomenal. You've got a chance with him to face another former team here, the Detroit Red Wings, the team he was just with last year, and you don't give him the net? You don't give him the net in this spot? What's up with that? Lindy, what are you doing here, man? Now, this is not a slight on Colton Ellis. Maybe Colton Ellis, who's going to make his first start here for the Buffalo Sabres tonight, is going to roll in there and have a hell of a game. Maybe he's going to do a Devin Cooley on us when we don't expect it, like Devin Cooley did against Utah, last week. That's the only reason that game was competitive. Yeah, I get it. I know they don't want to burn out. You got other games, Jonathan, to rest Lyon. This is against his old team here. We saw him, step up and want to beat, the competitive juices flow when you're facing your old team for the first time. It is what it is. I think this should have been a Lion start for Buffalo, and I worry that they rue the fact that they start Ellis. Now, maybe Ellis is going to go in there and play well, and if he does, it's water under the bridge. It's no big deal if they win this game tonight. But if they lose this game tonight, it's going to open the door to all kinds of second guessing here. Why is Lyon not playing against his old team, the team he was most recently with, the Detroit Red Wings? That's the question. We know Buffalo, they're still got some injuries, obviously. It's the same guys that have been out: Greenway, Danforth, Bryson, Josh Norris, of course, on IR. Patrick Kane is out tonight, by the way, for the Detroit Red Wings. Make note of that. So he is out. So there'll probably be a little juggling here for Todd McClellan as far as the goaltending or as far as the forward group in the top 6 is concerned going into this matchup tonight. You look at the line combos right now. It looks like we've got Larkin, Raymond, Finney, top line, DeBrincat, Casper, Brandsig, Nygaard on the second line, Berggren, Comfer, Appleton down to the third line. Make note of that. We've been betting props with him lately. Rasmussen, Kopp, JVR on the fourth line. So that looks to be the lineup tonight for the Detroit Red Wings. Buffalo, it looks like status quo. Benson, Kulik, Thompson, Doan, McLeod, Tuck going to be your top 6 for them here tonight in this game. Like I said, Colton Ellis, we'll see how he fares. John Gibson confirmed in net. Gibson struggled against Montreal, but was much, much better the last time we saw him in net for the Detroit Red Wings. It was a nice bounce back for him. I know that was not the performance he would have wanted, obviously, in his Red Wing debut against Montreal, that first game of the season, but a much better performance from Gibson the last 2 times he's been in net against Edmonton, Toronto. 2 goals allowed against the Oilers, 1 goal allowed against Tampa in a pair of victories. Colton Ellis, will give you the numbers here for Colton Ellis. His NHL debut, he's bounced around the minors for a few years. He's 25 years old, 2.63 goals against average, 922 save percentage in 42 games last year with Springfield in the American Hockey League. Like I said, Red Wings have been scoring 3.8 goals per game during this run of theirs. So good challenge here for Colton Ellis in his NHL debut. I'm still on Detroit here. The price is cheap. If I lose, so be it. I feel that way about the two remaining games on the card. I'm on the side that looks like the obvious bet, the obvious side in both of these games. And, there's going to be people that talk themselves into Buffalo and talk them into the other team, I'll say it, Calgary, in the second game because it seems cheap on the superior teams right now. But I'm going to take Detroit here, -110. They're playing well. They've actually won against Buffalo, 3 in a row as well. So, yeah, Red Wings for me, -110 in this one. I think it's cheap. Alex, what do you think here? Red Wings, Sabres.
Yeah, I'm just going off of my numbers. And my numbers indicate that Colton Ellis is 35 cents worse than UPL, who's the best goalie in Buffalo. 15 cents worse than Alex Lyon, his current counterpart right now, his current mate right now. You add that with John Gibson starting in the goal, and this is a pick'em line. This is Detroit all day long. Like I said, Detroit's in good form, and I just don't trust Ellis. Ellis is a guy, like I said, whose numbers, it wouldn't matter this spot if Detroit was on a streak. And I get what people want to try and fade the streak, but I just don't think this is a spot where, like I said, Ellis should be getting the start. If this was a Lions start, I'd probably stay away and bet this game live. But I'm taking a shot here at pick and price with Detroit against Buffalo.
Yeah, we don't know how Ellis is going to be, Steven. This is definitely a bet numbers, not bet teams type of bet.
And I'm going off of things I've seen with him playing in the AHL. I don't like his form. I don't think he's a top tier. I don't even think he's a quality backup goalie in my opinion. So That's why I'm saying. He says, how do I know he's bad? Based on eye test, I don't think he's that good.
Yeah. I'm always leery of these guys that have been playing in the minors for years, and all of a sudden at 25, they're making their NHL debut. We'll have to wait and see. But like I said, this is definitely like Detroit. I have Detroit closer to -130, 35 in this game as a road favorite. The way they're playing, the teams they've beaten, I'm totally comfortable win or lose. If I lose, so be it. We've lost bets before. We'll lose many more. But at this price, -110, got to take Detroit, at least in my opinion. Perlo, what do you think here? Red Wings, Sabres.
Yeah, very interesting game. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can look at it. You got Detroit that just beat a whole lot of better teams than this in a row. In theory, this should be a letdown spot for Detroit. They have the Islanders next game, so if they lose this one, they still got the lowly-ass Islanders to play after that.
Buffalo's got Toronto back-to-back. Those are big games.
And then Buffalo's got Toronto back-to-back after this. This is my theory on the reason why Ruff is doing this.
That's their annual Stanley Cup, the Sabres, when they play Toronto a bunch of times.
Yeah, that's right. So there's a look-ahead spot there on top of it. On top of that, I think Ruff is doing this because that game in Montreal, they relied way too much on Lyon. And I think he's saying, look, I'm fed up with this. It may not work. I don't care. I could be out of here right away. I don't even care anymore. You guys aren't going to play offense and be hard on the stick with this kid. Then there's nothing I can do. Really. You're putting this kid in here. He is challenging them to play hard on the stick. If Buffalo plays hard on the stick, they actually generate chances. They're pussies. They have no confidence whatsoever. And Ruff has been trying to pound it in them for so long now. I think he's just doing whatever he can to get it out of them. Do I believe? I actually wanted to call this podcast Perlo's Who Do I Trust podcast. And do I trust Buffalo Sabres? God, no. No. Do I trust them to do something here? Absolutely not. So I am definitely taking Detroit here, just like you are. But more than anything, again, this is going to be I'm going to be going with props on this. There's a lot of great props here. And Jonathan brought it up. He calls it the Perlo special now, I guess, where I combine parlays for players. I love that Finney kid. I think he could pot one here. He's on a roll. He's flying. And take him for a goal. But also, he's playing with Larkin. Take him with Finney and Larkin for an assist. You can get that at plus 600. Anybody on that line and Finney, and then Larkin, Raymond for an assist, all of that kind of stuff like that. Like I said, go to Perlo's NHL POW. I'll have these parlays up for you there in my community group. You can just hit my community group. But one thing I will say that I think Buffalo will do here, I think they're going to shoot. The question is whether they're going to score. So ever since Kulik it hasn't been that long ago, but they sat him. And the reason why they sat him is this kid's got a shot and he wasn't using it. And he came back and he shot. So I'm taking Kulik for a goal, or Kulik over shots. And I have a little parlay here that's really, really good that I'm going to throw out here. And like I said, go get the rest of my parlays. Kulik for a goal. Benson can't score to save his life, but he can create rebounds and stuff like that, and he gets assists. So Benson for an assist, I think he's on a 4-game assist run or something like that. And Dahlin for assist. You can get that up plus 1250. Also, Dahlin over shots. Somebody mentioned it here, Vegas guy. Dahlin over shots is a premium today, so you got that one.
You mentioned a block shot earlier, and I just happened to see this on the prop tool I'm looking at. There's a guy that's gone over 1.5 block shots every game this year. He's missed a couple games due to injury. He's played in 4 games for the Buffalo Sabres, and he's gone over 1.5 block shots in every game, and that's Matthias Samuelsson. So there's a little something.
Oh, there you go. Oh, by the way, I also have the draw here. Yeah. This seems like very much Detroit would be happy with the draw. Buffalo will probably, if they're up, they'll screw up in the third or something like that. So I could definitely see a draw here for sure.
There's a lot of I like Larkin to score. He's got 2 games in a row with a goal. I like Juraj Kulik at plus 350 in
Larkin
that range.
Shots,
he scored in the last game. I'm with you on Emmett Finney. He finally got his first goal of the season. I've been waiting for Emmett Finney to produce on that top line where he's been all season with Dylan Larkin, and it finally happened. And Lucas Raymond back there as well. So Emmett Finney.
I forgot to mention Doan.
Pop Doan might be in the building too, because I know Shane Doan was in Toronto last night, so he might just take the trip down the QEW, watch his son play here tonight, especially with the Leafs not playing. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think there's another couple that I was looking at here is this game, but yeah, Finney for Detroit. Casper. Casper's been slow out of the gate, but he'll get going eventually. I'd probably wait to see him get going before taking him. But yeah, Benson plus 350 on that top line for Buffalo. I think worth a look here as well tonight in this one. All right, our last game, Montreal and Calgary. We've got Montreal around minus 120 road favorites in this game, and the total sitting at looks like 6 here, pretty much across the board here with the Montreal and Calgary game. Let me just see here. 6 shaded to the under, 5.5 in some spots. So make sure you shop around here, depending on which book. If you like over, get the 5.5. If you like under, get 6. I think Montreal might be able to score, but right now the question is, do you trust Calgary? 2 goals or less in 6 straight games. It's been rough. They're not getting much from anybody, and they're certainly not getting much from their depth scorers, their depth forwards right now. Their power play struggled. Their blue line outside of, like I said, I think their blue line outside of Anderson and Weegar, even them, there's teams that are so good on the blue line, they may not even take Anderson and Weegar on their team. And those are the only 2 defensemen I'd even consider having on my hockey team right now that this Calgary Flames team has. And everyone's quick to blame, Dustin Wolf for struggles. And Dustin Wolf has to play better, but I think a lot of it is that, Dustin Wolf's having a real tough time right now at this point in time. Montembeault and net's the one concern, because he's not started off the season all that great for Montreal. But something's got to give here, And Montembeault acknowledged the struggles, even in the game against the Rangers in particular, where he said, I do have to be better. Because remember, when they played Buffalo, Dobish was in net that night for Montreal. So he does have to play better. But again, Calgary they're not finding the back of the net right now. This might be an opportunity. Is it Dobish confirmed? Let me just see here, Jonathan. You're right. Some people are saying.
That's what I was just about to say. Goalie Post has Dobish confirmed.
Oh wow!
But I'm seeing other people saying stuff. So I was just about to go in the chat and say who's got what.
He's the better goalie, man. He's the better goalie right now. Like Montembeault was not great in the preseason. He hasn't been great to start the regular season. But now it is a back-to-back for Montreal, so I think we'll see Montembeault tomorrow night when they're in Edmonton against the Oilers. So it is Jakob Dobisch here going to get the start. So I like Montreal even more now, and I like them anyway. I bet them already minus 120. I just think it's fade Calgary until they prove to me they can win a hockey game. Fade Calgary until they prove to me they can score goals. And right now they can't do either. They can't win a hockey game. They can't score goals. And if you can't score goals, you usually can't win a hockey game. So it goes part and parcel. So I like Montreal here, minus 120. Starting a road trip, there should be some focus here for the Habs to get off to a good start. Now, Calgary's played Montreal well the last 2 years. So a little mild concern there that the Flames have played the Habs well, won 4 meetings the last 2 years over Montreal. It's a different season, though, different team. Best Montreal team during that time. Calgary just can't get out of their own way. And the price is still cheap enough, in my opinion, to go against Calgary. So Montreal for me, minus 120. Alex, what do you think here? Canadiens, Flames.
Oh, Jakob Dobisch confirmed in net. So we're going right back to the well with Calgary to get the first goal in the first period, plus 130. Like I said, this team has struggled to score, but I think they will be able to get a goal against Dobisch like a lot of other teams have early on in the contest. I'm also going with first period over. You can get that minus $1.20. Of course, you can always wait for that live as well. And both teams to score in the first period, plus 164. I did take a small sprinkle with a draw here at plus 330. I'm going with Zach Bolduc to get the overtime winner at 100 to 1. So those are smaller plays on that, but I like the first period looks more. First period over, first period both teams to score, and Calgary to get the first goal on Dobisch.
I noticed that about Bolduc, and Bolduc's a guy that's cooled off after a red-hot start to the season for Montreal, but he has a history of scoring and producing against Calgary. Now, these were all games when he was with St. Louis, obviously, but he does have a track record of scoring against Calgary.
Maybe first goal and OT goal.
I'm back on the Bolduc Express as far as a goal prop tonight. There's a bunch of other. I like Slavkovsky. He's started to heat up with goals now in back-to-back games. And I'm going to go back to someone on Montreal that Alex has used as bargain bin and recommended before, Oliver Kapanen, who continues to make inroads offensively for Montreal in that third line spot, and very dangerous shorthanded as well. So Oliver Kapanen, could be upwards of plus 500 for him to score a goal tonight. I think worth a look as well. Perlo, what do you think here? Montreal, Calgary.
Well, I was actually, like you said, it's such a Calgary spot, but I can't trust Calgary at all. This is so much of a Calgary spot. But since I was going to see if because Alex's first period over is just freaking awesome. Sometimes I just got to rely on you guys here, what you're really good at. And if you like the first period over and both teams to score, so do I. So that being said, I think Montreal is going to be a little bit I think they're going to be a little bit of taken aback. I do think Calgary is going to come out hard here. So I'm going to take that one.
I do agree with. I'm
going to take that one step further and go exact score 1-1 first period, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one. But if there was ever an exact score 1-1, this is probably it. I didn't have that on my card, so I don't know how I'm going to have it on my card after. But since he wanted to go, Alex wanted to go with the first goal with Dobisch, I'm going to go with that. Thank you for that, especially if we hit it. I am with you on Kapanen. I love this kid. And I think this is a game where this kid even steps up more than usual. Calgary's going to have to focus on that top line quite a bit. I think he's going to be open here for for even more than usual. So I do like Kapanen at plus 500. And I got a really good one because Demidov, he's been assisting on everything Kapanen has done. So I'm going to take Kapanen for a goal and Demidov for an assist. And I'm taking both of them individually because Demidov for an assist is plus 220. That's pretty awesome. And that is plus 1,050 for that. So I'm taking that. As far as the game is concerned, since you brought it up that way, I'm going to take Montreal, but I'm also going to wait. And as soon as Calgary scores, we're going to be all over Montreal to win, right? So I'll do that as a live bet as soon as Calgary scores, because they're going to score the first goal. Then I'm going to take Montreal to win. But it is a bad spot for Montreal here. However, they're just a way better team. This Calgary team,
and the price is playable. That's why I'm on Montreal. Montreal's minus 150. Forget about it. But minus 120, count me in.
Yeah, I think they've just got enough young legs that this Calgary team won't be able to keep up over the whole game. And like you saw in Buffalo too. Like they look so confident against that Buffalo team. Calgary, this is a team that knows they are rebuilding. They know it. They look like it. They're acting like it. And somebody mentioned Anderson overshots. I've mentioned it before. Anderson overshots is an all-year play. You take him. But unfortunately, he got 6 last time, and he's minus 160 today. So I'm not really a big fan of that. You can parlay that. I would parlay that. I like taking him in the minus 130 range, but I'll probably do something with it. But one thing I will do is when he's shooting that much, he actually scores. And if they're going to keep on going back to him like that, I'm going to take him at plus 750. And while we were talking, I don't know what the number on this is. I'm going to take him to score the first goal. Since we believe Calgary's going to score a goal, and he's been shooting like crazy as he is. And I think Calgary's going to have a tough time down there with Montreal with their defense. And it looks like what's happened is the coach has said, look, we're not scoring. Let's go back to the point. Let's grind out goals. And so I'm going to take Anderson to score the first goal too.
There you go. All right. Good stuff there as far as Montreal and Calgary. Very interesting. This Dobish giving up the first goal has been pretty damn strong. It did not come through, though, against Buffalo. And he has been playing well and makes me think, are we going to see slowly this little trend of his start to die out and peter out with him giving up the first goal of the game? We'll have to wait and see because I think he's playing better right now than he did even last year. So, and again, you're talking about a Calgary team that can't put a puck in the ocean right now. So, like I said, something's got to give there as far as that's concerned. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat, 412 live viewers. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Great addition to the show as always. Make sure you check out, by the way, wizardsportspicks.com. Premium picks, single game premium picks, 3-pick packs, 5-pick packs available now on the website as well. Ian Cameron, myself, of course, Alex B. Smith, Matt Robinson, and a bunch of great handicappers. 2-0 NHL sweep with premium picks on the website last night at wizardsportspicks.com. Actually, 2-0-1. There was a push with the Stars over, which was 6 when I released it there on the site. But we had Anaheim as a dog. We had the over in the Islander game with the others. So nice 2-0 with the premiums at wizardsportspicks.com. Nice 15-8 college football and NFL streak going into tonight. So check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. And also, of course, check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 per month. Great time to get on board. Our daily betting card has been great. You know, we had a bargain bin special winner from me last night with Emil Heineman of the New York Islanders at plus 425. So it was great to see that. The bargain bin specials get posted there each day, along with all the sides, all the totals, player props as well. The daily betting card in the NHL posted each and every day on the Patreon page. Plus, you get goalie charts, totals charts, bonus content, exclusive live betcasts coming your way later in the season. Our first exclusive members-only, Patreon members-only betcast will be in November, date to be determined. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you get on board. The response has been awesome because your $10 per month that you spend on the Patreon page helps keep us going long term and helps support the show and keep us delivering this great show for you 7 days a week, all season long. So make sure you get on board. $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store. Starting today and up until the 26th, you'll be able to save 25% off all orders to $70 or more. So this is, like I said, the deal we had at the beginning of the year. It's a great time to stock up, get a couple items for yourself, get an item for your loved one, get a gift for somebody. This is the perfect time to do it. 25% off of $70 or more. All orders from now until October 26th. iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, great stuff. Check out the store, get some gear, get some great merch over at the Ice Guys store. Bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check it out, royalcannabisshop.com. 20% off with promo code ICEGUYS. All right, bargain bin special of the night. The confidence is starting to flow through the veins again for yours truly with bargain bin special. We got a couple winners now over the last few days. Connor Brown got us off the schneid on Saturday for New Jersey, and then last night we cashed with Emil Heineman for the New York Islanders at plus 425. See if we can deliver another bargain bin special hit for you on this Wednesday. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like bargain bin special?
Yeah, let's head out to New Jersey. We got the Minnesota Wild taking on the Devils. Guy coming back into the lineup, heading into the second line. We've cashed with him multiple times before. It's Marco Rossi. You get him anytime goal scorer plus 400 at FanDuel. That would be my bargain bin special for tonight. Marco Rossi, anytime goal scorer for the Minnesota Wild at plus 400.
All right, Marco Rossi, Minnesota, plus 400 for Alex. Perlo, bargain bin special.
I did not know that Rossi was back in the lineup today. So if he's back in the lineup, you're really going to want to go check me out at Perlo's NHL POW on Twitter and catch my parlays. But before I do, I said this was the Who Do I Trust podcast. I'll tell you who I trust is these guys right here. He talks about Patreon, $10 a month for the Patreon here. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but these guys are hitting like a mofo, man.
I was going to say, if someone put money on Heineman last night, you've made easily the money you pay him $10 a month back and more, and then some for the.
How many units are you up in props this year, Alex? It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Just with Frank Nazar alone, we're near 30 units.
Yeah,
just on Nazar alone.
Yeah. Just for that, $10 a month. Best NHL podcast in North America. $10 a month. These guys, they've got like 6,500 followers or something like that right now, which is like ridiculously low. It shouldn't even be that low.
No,
there should be at least 1,000 people paying for that. And that doesn't even get into the fact that we've got a live stream coming up, and the money I made off a live stream back just basically tailing these guys, unbelievable live bettors. Just that alone is worth $10. If you're not paying $10 a month, if you can't afford $10 a month for this, first of all, you shouldn't be betting. Shouldn't be betting nothing if you can't afford $10. So get your ass over to Patreon, pay up to $10. Even if you don't do anything on it, the money you're making, the entertainment value, these guys work their ass off. It's why I'm on the show. I love these guys. Hit it. And then when you're done that, you can go over to Perlo's NHL POW. You can scoop me a
good promo work, Perlo. Bravo.
Yeah. But first do that. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for these guys. These guys taught me everything there was about capping. I started 5 years ago, didn't know anything about it. I watched these guys. I studied these guys. It's why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right. Okay. So I'll give you my bargain bin. Last time I was on, we swept the best bet, and we're going to try to do that here. You guys have been doing it like crazy. I'm going to go with Kapanen. I just love the way that guy's flowing. I don't think Calgary has too much to stop him, so I'm going to go with Kapanen at plus 500. And I'm going to I always give two because I don't get on very often. I'm going to take Doan anytime goal and Dahlin assist at plus 450, I think that is. I'm going to do that as well.
All right, there we go. Good stuff with Perlo with the bargain bin special. I got two tonight in the bargain bin special of the night. Even though it's a small 3-game card, I'm going with two here tonight. I'm going with Emmett Finney for Detroit, plus 410. He got off the schneid last game. Still playing on the top line. The price is still awesome. Emmett Finney, Detroit Red Wings, plus 410. And the other one, we're going to see if I can hit one with someone that Alex has used before. Oliver Kapanen for the Montreal Canadiens, plus 500. So a couple good prices there tonight. Emmett Finney for Detroit, plus 410. And Oliver Kapanen for Montreal, plus 500.
For sure.
Yeah, I like that price. So a couple good prices there. We will rock with those for bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets for this Wednesday card. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's not Alex.
So I'm liking this trend to get back onto the wagon, and that's the trend of Jakob Dovish giving up the first goal of the game. So give me the Calgary Flames, first goal in the first period, plus 130 at FanDuel. That'll be my best bet tonight.
Oh, wow.
All right, there we go. The first goal of the game, Calgary Flames, and Jakub Dobish has surrendered it often. We'll see if that happens again. Best bet for Alex B. Smith. Perlo, what do you like for best bet?
I'm going to take that. I got two. I'm going to take that first period money line for Minnesota for one. And somebody says I need my own podcast. I have my own podcast. I'm doing at 11 o'clock at night. We do a everybody can join, kind of get together, talk about picks for the next day thing. So you can follow me. Go over to Perlo's NHL POW. I'll show you. I'll give you the link, or you'll find the link there, and you can watch it in the evenings. The next one, I'm going to go with that Dahlin over 2.5 shots prop. He's been just flying over that. And that is a premium pick for you, my friends. That's a client play. So Dahlin over 2.5 shots at -125.
All right, there we go. Good stuff. All right, best bet for me, Montreal Canadiens. Bleu, blanc, rouge, rotana, c'est demain. Bleu, blanc, rouge, Canadien. Montreal Canadiens, -120 against the Calgary Flames. We'll see if they can add to the woes of this struggling Flames team and get their road trip started with a winning note. So Montreal -120 against Calgary for my best bet here for this Wednesday NHL card. Look it up on YouTube. Just Bleu Blanc Rouge, and you'll see the Habs logo.
It's on the Spotify playlist, our Ice Guys playlist.
Yeah. It's like the it's a long time theme song of the Canadiens en français. So there you go. Great song, great tune, and they are playing well. So I'm sure they're singing it loud and proud. Just before we wrap up and say goodbye, as we always do, our standard outro, couple programming notes. We will be doing the show 1 hour earlier tomorrow. We got an appointment conflict for yours truly, so we will be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. Okay, 1 hour earlier tomorrow with the Thursday edition of the Ice Guys show with me and Alex. We will have our regular show Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Matt Robinson will be back in the house on Friday with us. Saturday, likely with Ryan Robinson at noon Eastern as usual. Sunday, noon Eastern as usual. Probably no show Monday. At least we were planning on it.
No show. Yeah, no show on Monday. We can make that official though.
Yeah, there was
no
something
show on
that
Monday.
may have caused us to have a show Monday, but not anymore.
Yeah. The two games on Monday we will be talking about on Sunday. So we're taking Monday off to get ourselves ready for the Betcast day on Tuesday, which that will be starting 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah. So just to keep it all straight, here's what you need to know. 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Regular day, regular time, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday, we will do the Monday games on the Sunday show. No show on Monday. Tuesday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern start time on Tuesday. And then our first live betcast of the season, 6 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday night for the NHL Frozen Frenzy. Got all that? Good. All right, a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Tuesday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Monday with a delayed start, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith and Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back with you tomorrow on Thursday. Note the start time, 1 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.